I tried listening to binaural beats today. Shit does not work. It does not make you more focused. I must bring a matter of grave importance to your attention. Somebody disliked yesterday's video. I haven't been able to sleep since. Not even sure why I'm alive anymore. Today I did a lot of work moving to something called client-side prediction. So right now, the server just sends the client game state 60 times per second. There's a lot of problems with this method. Any network stutter at all makes the screen freeze up. High refresh rate monitors do not look right, and it consumes a huge amount of bandwidth. The server used right now has already consumed 17% of the monthly bandwidth limit, 80 gigabytes of game state. A real problem if people play the game more when there's more content. So what do we do about this? More correctly, what am I doing about this? Because you guys aren't helping. Nobody agreed to program the voice chat for free. I'll pay you an exposure to my 40 subscribers. They'll love you. Maybe not actually. Everybody who watches my videos is spiteful, so I'm sorry I can't pay you an exposure. Instead of 60 FPS, we're going to do 10 frames per second. But Cameron, won't that make it really laggy and ass? No. Pretend this is a timeline of the game. Right, we got frame 10, frame 20, frame 30. At each one of these, we're receiving everybody's position around you in the game state, like all your squads, everything. In between all of these frames, we're actually just going to process it locally. All of this stuff, it's acting like without any information from the server, right? Or at least only the information from the server since the last 10 FPS authoritative state. So it's just like predicting a bunch of stuff smoothly at your monitor's refresh rate. It's like you're flying around in your little ship. You're doing all the stuff you do. It's none of my business what you do in this game. It actually is. I really need a EULA or something. I'm kind of worried about the legal problems from shipping a game with voice over IP and no end user license agreement. I really don't know what to do. If you guys have any advice, please let me know in the comments. The premier discussion for legal advice is the comments. Oh god. This is going to be me, dude. I'm going to be behind bars because my game just has a bunch of pedophiles in it or something. It doesn't, to clarify. The game is awesome. Play now in the Discord. There's no pedophiles in the game. There's no pedophiles. If there are, I'm banning them. So anyways, right, the client's predicted 10 frames and it receives an authoritative snapshot. There's a problem. This snapshot was true like 10 frames ago. This is kind of hard to explain why. But let's just imagine it's you and a friend. You and a friend, right? It takes some time for you guys to communicate. Let's say 1 second, right? It's like the latency. It's like you have to pass a letter and it takes a second for him to get the letter. Let's say both of you guys start counting in your heads. Actually, okay, wait, it actually takes 5 seconds for the letter to get to your friend. So both of you guys just start counting in your heads at the same time. Okay, 1, 1, 2, 2. And in order to make sure your friend doesn't get lost while he's counting in his head, you send him a letter. When you get to 3, right? Let's say every 3 numbers you send him a letter. You're like, hey, I'm on number 3. And so you ship that letter off and it starts traveling, right? 5 seconds. Meanwhile, both of you guys are still counting. 4, 4, 5, 5, all the way up until 8 seconds when the friend finally gets the letter. It says 3, but he's all the way in 8 seconds, right? It's a dead meme. This is completely useless, right? It's super old information. The same problem is happening with this. Both the server and the client are processing these frames, right? And by the time the client receives the game state, it already happened like a fifth of a second ago or something. That is not good. Gotta do something. So what happens is when the client receives this authoritative snapshot, it goes back in time to the last time it received an authoritative snapshot. And it reapplies all the inputs and changes you just did. It's like if your friend went back to number 3 and then recounted up from that number. All the stuff that he predicted, right? So yeah, that's what I got most of the way through implementing today. I got distracted again. Not really. I worked for 8 hours or 9 hours. It's just a lot of shit. This is a very, very big refactor. Still very error prone, but I'm pretty confident I'll have it done tomorrow. Anyways, while doing my physics homework, it was about light waves and shit, right? And so I googled world's largest radar and I saw this peculiar ship, right? Look at this thing. It's bulbous. It's crazy. The scale is crazy, right? Look, it's a helicopter pad and this thing looks it's like an oil rig, but it's moving. So I go to the Wikipedia, right? And I just start reading like any good-natured American citizen. This thing looks cool, man. And this thing is insane. This is one of the craziest discoveries. Oh my gosh. It's massive. And they spent $1 billion on it. The US military. It's a military craft. Look at this quote I found. Wait, first let me explain what it is. This thing is a gigantic radar dish that can see stuff all the way across the nation. It was described by a lieutenant as being able to track an object the size of a baseball over San Francisco in California from Chesapeake Bay in Virginia, approximately 2,900 miles away. This thing can watch you thinking about fucking the US. It can see your thoughts like radaring in midair. Just insane precision. It's for tracking like missiles that North Korea launches at us or something. Look at this fucking quote. This radar is so massive and powerful that it's never pointed at land for the safety of its inhabitants. There's just this fucking radar dish sitting out there in the ocean. And if it was ever pointed at land, it would kill people from like hundreds of miles away. What the fuck? Holy shit. Dude, this thing's so precise, it can like scan your nuts in the shower. I just can't believe this is real. The game design of this game definitely needs some love. You know, this is a lot of technical stuff. It needs like input system improvement, more block type, energy balancing, better first-time user experience. I really want to focus on this stuff because it'll make the game better and it's very easy for me to do. Like, way better. This technical stuff is just to make the game design stuff possible. Now, once I'm done doing this content prediction thing, a lot of stuff will be just a lot higher quality in general. And this is like a big thing I've been needing to do for a while. You know, this is something I was thinking about the other day. There's a lot of like box ideas, right? Like a cloaking block, right? That makes your like part of the ship invisible, like a ship interior block. I think the rule for these blocks is going to be like to avoid the massive explosion in like random parts in Space Engineers. Every single block has to represent like an interesting choice of whether or not to spend your energy on it, like whether or not to include it in a ship. Ships can only be so big, so it should be like, ooh, which block should I build this ship out of? And each block should like fundamentally change how the ship works. I think that's a good rule. I was totally afraid of doing this client-side prediction stuff, but then I decided no guts, no glory. I'm gonna fucking make a really broken system. No, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Trust me. Anyway, this is all I got for you guys today. Like and subscribe and join the Discord to play the game now.